Meathead Science 101. Um, so your question was about basketball and in-season training, how I train my guys. The thing, and I just spoke with James Smith, aka the Thinker. He's supposed, he's supposedly and I believe it, one of the top exercise programmers in the world. The thing you have to realize when you're working with athletes, and I don't know if you're a strength coach or a basketball player yourself or a basketball coach. Most sports coaches don't realize that what they're trying to get from their athletes is an adaptation. Just like we're trying to get an adaptation in the weight room from the athletes. Because they don't realize this, the practices are just kind of done on a whim. There's no set schedule. They don't lay out their plan, how much volume they're going to do, let's say, with lateral movement, with dribbling, with shooting. There's no volume. It just kind of go, do as you go, which is not a good approach. Ideally, the strength coach would have a hand in this practice design. So with in-season training, if you can see right here, the main things we're looking at is maintenance, mobility, and recovery for basketball players, okay? Maintenance, you want to try to maintain some of the power you've built up or the muscle mass during the off season and the strength levels. If you don't train, you're going to lose all this stuff. Mobility is huge for basketball players. You want ankles to be mobile. You want to work on knee stability, like VMO or patellar knee tracking with terminal knee extensions. You want to work on recovery. So we're talking about soft tissue. We're talking about mobility work. Steve Maxwell is a great resource for that, or mobilitywod.com. Stretching, that type of stuff. Meditation. That is huge. And you compare this to, let's say, that didn't work, but I'm just trying to figure this out. There we go. Compare this to the off season, Carter, when our main goal is to get stronger, faster, more explosive, more powerful, and therefore, as far as the strength, or if we have to gain muscle mass, the volume is going to be higher. Workouts, therefore, will be longer. You're going to have more time to work with the players. You're going to get more CNS intensive stuff in there. Now, central nervous system intensive work is stuff that has a high rate of muscular recruitment, a lot of high threshold motor units, very fast, explosive. So this is jumping, sprinting, med ball work, Olympic lifting, and they don't feel draining. That's where you got to be careful with CNS intensive stuff when you're trying to get adaptations. So during the season, the goal for these athletes and players is the practices and skill work leading into the games. That's more important. Unfortunately, like I said, the coaches don't monitor any of the CNS intensive stuff you're doing with the players, so they can really pay a price as the season goes on with that. That's why your job is going to be recovery and maintenance, mainly, and mobility during the season. So during the season, keep CNS intensive stuff low. You're not doing a lot of speed work. You're not doing a lot of jumping. You're not doing any Olympic lifting. Okay. As far as conditioning, I think you had asked about that too. Energy system development, aerobic, anaerobic, lactic system. Usually it takes about 6 weeks to get an athlete into shape for whatever their sport is. So I don't go crazy with that. Provide just as much as they need to be successful and to be the best out there. I drew this over here, the seesaw. You got to realize it's a fine balance again between this and this. And if we can't balance those two, as far as recovery and maintenance during the season, your players' performance is going to go down the shitter, to be blunt. And you also asked, when would it be good to start training once the season starts, during practices or once games start? If you wait, Carter, from the time practices start all the way to when the games start, that's could be a month. And you're going to really regress and lose a lot of the maintenance you made. You gotta fight whatever you can do to get at least one workout a week in. I wouldn't go any more than 2 during the season. Work on some global type things. Hit the posterior chain, RDLs, because then we're getting strength work in the posterior chain and mobility work at the hips. Maybe some squatting. Nothing. Not doing any repetition maximum stuff. 1 rep max stuff. You could hit some overhead pressing, some pulling. Pulling is great for any athlete. And core work. And that's really how it started. Make sure you're doing glute activation stuff as well. So Carter, I hope this answers your question. If not, feel free to hit me up. And thanks for posting. And thanks